If you've been treating your daily notes like a forgotten side project, this changes today. Time Garden, the most sophisticated journaling template for Obsidian, can now merge seamlessly with your personal vault. So let's get you that clarity you've been missing in just a few minutes, completely free. Alright, so if you don't have Time Garden installed in the first place, check out the main walkthrough first. And if you have an older version, skip ahead in the video to find out how to update Time Garden. So the V1.1 update features a new documentation, also automatic updates, but the main thing is the merging feature. I got like a fresh instance of Time Garden and also my personal vault, which I've been using before. And you know, I want these two to actually be sort of part of each other, right? I want to sort of merge them. And as you can see in my old vault, I actually had its own like place for temporal journaling, like a diary with daily, monthly, weekly, and yearly notes. So this is exactly where Time Garden could become part of my old system. Unfortunately, it's not just possible to drag and drop Time Garden into your vault, but I guarantee you there is a smooth solution. Because as Time Garden is so sophisticated, it is actually much easier to drag your previous system into Time Garden. And what the new update does is basically make Time Garden as compatible as possible. So to just start things off, I'm actually going to right click and reveal in Finder both vaults. I'm going to go to my personal vault, right click, reveal in Finder. Like on Windows, it would be the Explorer, obviously. And now we got my vault and we got Time Garden. So I'm just going to highlight all of my files, except for the like hidden files if they are revealed to you, like the .obsidian, like you don't want to move these. And then I'm just going to drag them over into Time Garden. Easy as that. Now coming back into Time Garden, obviously Obsidian hasn't refreshed yet, so I'm just going to hit Command P. Okay, that doesn't even work. I guess Obsidian has crashed. I'm just going to restart the app. And now everything is, well, a bit messy. So obviously this always depends on how the vault you had before looks like. But I think we all agree that it would be so much cleaner if Time Garden had its own folder. And that's absolutely possible. Just before putting the file like anywhere very specific, I would just create a new folder. And for example, just for the sake of the tutorial, call it Time Garden. And now I'm just going to highlight all the files that belong to Time Garden. So here, like from dashboard up until notes, especially make sure to highlight the templates directory as well, and then drag them into the fitting Time Garden folder. As you can see, it's even colored inside of this Time Garden folder, and also don't worry about the buttons saying these weird things. Also, for the sake of clarity, I'm just going to put the rest of my vault in another folder, which I'm going to call Carl's Vault, like that. Just the thing I want to teach you now is that, you know, natively Time Garden won't really smoothly work now. Like if I create, wait, let me just do a Command P reload app without saving. Like if I create a new daily note, it will create it like in a new directory that's not inside our new Time Garden folder. Just in general, things will break because there's a new destination for these files. So the main thing we need to do is go to the Time Garden settings, either by clicking on the gear icon on the left or going to the gear icon on the bottom left, and then like on the left sidebar, locate the Time Garden plugin, and in general, make sure that we have Time Garden V1.1 installed. And then, you know, here, like at the top, there's the link to the tutorial you're watching right now. And there's this, just in general, this new setting called root folder path. So you can actually set the root directory of Time Garden to like a custom path. So I'm just going to click set root path. And now we're going to like think, okay, where did we put Time Garden? In the Time Garden folder. The format requires us to like, here it's also set again, like to put our parent folder between slashes. So I'm going to put it in the Time Garden like this, and then another slash, and this should be correct. Again, you could also put Time Garden, for example, like into your direct diary, like into your vault, and also maybe call it diary directly, or like diary Time Garden. And then, you know, all you need to do is basically find out what is the path. So it's in Carl's Vault, then in Hubs, and then diary Time Garden. So again, I'm going to the settings, then slash Carl's Vault, slash Hubs, and slash diary Time Garden, and then another slash. Like you could theoretically do that. Like it's absolutely up to you how much you nest Time Garden within your system. But for the sake of the tutorial, I'm just gonna, again, just put it on the outside, Carl's Vault and diary Time Garden. I'm gonna rename it to just Time Garden, change it back. And you know, like if it's just a single slash, it basically means that it's set to the root, like that Time Garden is like that your vault is literally Time Garden. That Time Garden is nowhere inside of any folder, but it's directly Time Garden. Things still won't work fully, but we're almost done. Like go back to the Obsidian settings and then actually go to the Templator community plugin and then scroll down. And then all of these entries, you're just gonna update these paths and append Time Garden to them. Like maybe it's offered to you that like maybe there's this autocomplete here. If that's the case, you can literally just click these. So it's gonna be done very quickly. So again, just putting Time Garden in front. Like you could also do it by hand, like copy that and then just paste it into here. And then also scroll down and here it's literally the same story. So because your 06 templates directory moved somewhere, you need to add the directory that you put it in to the directory. Bam, bam, bam. Okay, here it actually doesn't suggest the autocomplete, so I'm gonna paste it in by hand. And now I'm just gonna continue and we're done. And now we're also gonna go to the journals plugin. So locate the journals plugin and then here, like under the 5 journals, first in daily, click on the pen icon for edit daily. And then here also update the path by adding whatever path you put Time Garden in. So I just put it in Time Garden. And then also under templates, you're going to add Time Garden and here it's also auto suggested. And now go out of it and now do the same for the monthly. Bam and bam. Now the same for the quarterly like this. Now the same for the weekly and the yearly, of course. And now you're done. A thing you need to mind is that these navigation buttons, like if you had generated daily notes in Time Garden before you updated and moved it somewhere, the buttons that you used will still point to the wrong file. So like if I click tomorrow on this old note, it's gonna, as you can see, break out of our pattern and in general just be broken. So for that, you just need to delete the note and where you want to navigate and then just remake it. And now if I click tomorrow, it's actually not generating a new folder because if I check my Time Garden directory, it's actually placed in the correct place. And you know, this is awesome because again, this allows us to have functional Time Garden with like weekly notes, monthly notes, quarterly notes, everything, but wherever you want it to happen inside your vault. Now, obviously, I know some of you guys have very complex workflows in your own vaults as well. And now that you have imported your own vault into Time Garden, or like at least the environment of Time Garden, that means you need to reinstall your own community plugins, of course, as well. I mean, if your community plugins aren't in the selection here already. There are also some settings that you probably care about. For example, for the editor settings, you might actually, like maybe you're used to using the properties of a node, like the YAML front matter. So actually in editor, you want the properties and document to be the source view again. Like maybe in your own vault, you know, you have, you might be using properties and stuff. And like in Time Garden by default, these are hidden because if we now go back to a Time Garden node with these shown, you can see that this is actually quite distracting. Like it's actually not something you want to see. It's all sort of things that go on behind the scenes. But you know, obviously I made a solution, which is to just go back to the settings, then into appearance, then scroll down and just tick the Time Garden hide front matter. And now the front matter only inside of the Time Garden nodes is actually hidden, but in your own nodes that you're using where you might want the properties just to be like viewable, there they'll actually be displayed. Additionally, under files and links, Time Garden has its own like folder to create new notes in. You might want to change that. Also, attachment folder path, like where the images are saved, maybe you want to save that and in general just refresh that. Also, if you are using your own template or templates, Time Garden actually doesn't need its own template folder to be specified. So you can just choose your own template folder here to use templater in the classic way. Like here I had in my old vault like utility and then templates. So I'm going to add that. And I mean, yeah, that's literally it. Like now you have the most jacked temporal journal in your own vault system. I mean, that's just awesome. Okay, now regarding updating Time Garden. So if we go into the settings and you notice that you have Time Garden V1.0 installed, which means you're an OG, updating to the next version actually gives you a few options. The simplest option being to just go back on the timegarden.app official site and literally download Time Garden again by entering your mail again and submitting your order. Now open the newly installed version of Time Garden, which I've named Time Garden Vault V1.1 just to make things a bit easier to oversee. And now if you just had older notes, I recommend right-clicking, for example, your daily directory, revealing it in your Finder. Just in your new version of Time Garden, you can literally just delete like all folders from like 01 daily up until 05 yearly. And then just from your old version of Time Garden, just take the 01 daily up until the 05 yearly, copy it, and then just paste it into your updated version of Time Garden. Like this. And yeah, now talking about updating Time Garden in the future, it's actually going to be super easy. You're going to have every upcoming update, because all that you need to do, Time Garden will most likely update itself, but if it doesn't and you notice there's a new update, just hit Command P and then, find the command Brad, plugins, check for updates to all beta plugins and update. And if you hit that and it just says it's completed, then it should refresh the Time Garden plugin. And if for some reason you need to replace the templates directory by hand again, I'm gonna obviously notify you and tell you how to do that. If you want to further enhance your system, adding a background image to your graph view is actually the way to go. If you want to find out how to do that, just check out the video right here, and I will see you there. Thank you so much for watching.